Hello, so welcome back to this next video. This next video is going to be using the trigonometric ratios to find the missing sides. So it's going to be broken up into 2a and 2b, as you can see there. But before we do that, let's go back to the question from last video. So you can see here, when you're asked to find the ratios, with this previous question, we have to look at a reference angle. From our reference angle, we say this is the 90 degrees. So again, we're going to label the triangle. This is going to be the hypotenuse, this is going to be the opposite, and this is going to be the adjacent. From here, we remember the SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so sine is the same as saying opposite over hypotenuse, which in this case is 24 over 25. Cos is the same as saying a over h, which is 7 over 25, and tan is o over a, which is 24 over 7. Hopefully you got that same answer as well. So the first part of this lesson will be using the ratios given an angle, and the brackets I've put there, x is on top. So you'll see this will make a bit more sense when we go through the examples. So I've given you 5 steps. These 5 steps are the steps that you should follow every single time you complete a trigonometric question. It'll be almost foolproof to get a question wrong if you follow these steps correctly. So let's use these steps in action. So the question says here, find sine theta. Now, let's just go through these steps first and worry about the question later. The first step says, draw the triangle. Well, we're given a triangle, so we don't need to draw the triangle in this case. But we may need to use it eventually in the future when we are analyzing worded questions. The next step says, label H, O, and A. So with H, O, and A, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our reference angle. Our reference angle's right there. So which side is going to be our hypotenuse if our 90 degrees right there? That's going to be our hypotenuse, that side's going to be our opposite, and this side will be our adjacent. Alright, now since the question says find sine theta, we already know which ratio we're going to be using. So I'm going to say, okay, sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse, if you remember. So, from here, the next step is substitute the values in. So, we're going to write sine, but we're not going to write theta this time, because theta, if you remember, represents unknown angle. But the unknown angle is actually not unknown. We actually know what the angle is. So we're going to write sine 40 instead of theta. And that's going to be divided by x over 10. From here, we need to solve for x. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what is this 10 doing to this x at the moment? If you think about it, it's x. X is being divided by 10. So the opposite of divide by 10 is going to be times 10. So this answer will end up being 10 times sine 40 equals whatever x is. And the value you should get for this is x is equal to 7.45. Alright, what I'd like you to do is to pause the video right here, and I'd like you to try get through as many steps as you can with this video, and unpause when you're ready to listen to an explanation. Okay, now that you've given the question a shot, the first step is draw the triangle. That's already done. Next step is label H, O, and A. So let's do that right now. This side is going to be the H, this side is going to be the O, and this side is going to be the A. Alright, now the next question is, which ratio do we use? We're asked to find cos theta. So in this case, cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, if you remember, ka. Next step, substitute values in. So we're going to write as cos, not theta anymore, but 52 is equal to x over 25. And the last step is solve. So how do we solve for this question? X is being divided by 25. So the opposite to get this over to the other side will be times 25. So what we end up getting is 25 times cos 52 equals x. And the value you should get for that is 15. X is equal to 15.39. Alright, let's look at the next question now. This last question is, a telephone pole is attached to a guide wire. The guide wire makes an angle of 75 degrees with the ground and is secured, so degrees should be there, and is secured 6 meters from the bottom of the pole. Determine the height of the telephone pole to the nearest tenth of a meter. Let's have a look at how we can draw this particular question. So if you imagine right here, that is the telephone pole. And to this telephone pole, guide wire is attached. So the guide wire is going to go from the top all the way down here. So that's a guide wire. And you can see here that that's the distance from the ground. So the guide wire makes an angle of 75 degrees with the ground. So this is the ground right there, and this is the guide wire. And it says here the guide wire makes an angle of 75 degrees. So that's going to be 75 degrees. It's 6 meters from the ground. So from here to this point, it's 6 meters. And what we're asked to find is we're asked to find what is the height of this telephone pole. So step 1, draw the triangle, complete. Next part to this question is labeling the triangle. So how do we label this triangle? Well, we already know what our reference angle is right here. So this is going to be our opposite, this is going to be our hypotenuse, and this is going to be our adjacent. Now the next question is, which ratio do we use? Now if you notice with this particular question, we're actually not given a ratio. So what ratio do we even use? Well, if you have a look, what two pieces of the puzzle are we given? Are we given a value for h? Are we given a value for o? Are we given a value for a? Let's have a look. H. Is there any value that's listed at all for h? No. So that means we can't, we don't really consider h. Is there a value for o? Yes. Well, although it's an unknown value, o is equal to x. You can see right there. And the last one is the value for a. The value for a in this case is equal to 6. So, which ratio do we use? So, ka, toa. Which one of these ratios uses O and A? That one right there. So we're going to use tan theta is equal to O over A. So the next case we have is substitute the values. So that means tan 75 degrees is equal to x over 6. So again, to solve for our x value, we just have to times by 6. So therefore x is equal to 6 times 10, 75. And the value you should get for x in this case is 22.39 meters. Or it says here to the nearest tenth of a meter. So this will become x equals 22.4 meters. Okay, so just to clarify, make sure that you follow the 5 steps that were listed right there.